Welcome back to the channel, everybody. I wanted to do something a little bit different with the Star Wars show content. I figured this time around, instead of doing the live stream, I'd just do the kind of like a breakdown discussion type thing afterwards. I watched both of the episodes twice. I took some notes, so if you see me looking at something, then that's what I'm looking at. Also, apologies if you hear the dogs. I can't do anything about that. Sorry. Um, This is going to be very much so a spoilery talk about the show. So if you have not watched it yet, might want to do that first. Um, and to get it very clear out of the way to begin with, I didn't have very high expectations going into it. There was just nothing really about the trailers that looked super intriguing to me. There were some things I was like, oh, that could be interesting, but there wasn't anything I was super excited about seeing. So I didn't really go in with any expectations. I also didn't really do a whole lot of digging beforehand because of that. So I know there's controversies and weird things surrounding various different parts of the show that I just don't have any. It has no relevance to me because I didn't look into that stuff. So keep that in mind. But I guess we'll get right into it. So starting with episode 1, we open with a pretty cool fight sequence between our Acolyte character and Jedi Trinity Indara, and it was a good fight sequence. The choreography seems good. It was interesting. I don't like how, like, I'll be honest, the first little bit of the show was a bit rough for me to follow and get into, just because, I mean, the first introduction we have to this character is her walking up to a Jedi Master at a table and doing a pose and telling her to attack her with all of her strength, and it just comes off a little corny and cheesy. And that repeats, so it is what it is. But the actual sequence was good. It looks good, sounds good. Choreography was good. And Dara dies like 4 minutes into the first episode, which I know from one of the trailers. I think there was a different shot that was not in this, so there will be, I guess, some form of flashbacks and things throughout the show. So she'll still play a bigger part, but I didn't expect her, given how like kind of a much of a focus she kind of was for a lot of people that she was in this, for her to have died so quick. But it is what it is. Um, so she dies, and then we catch up with her waking up on a ship, has no recollection that anything had happened. The Jedi come, and she is confirmed to be the one who was in the bar, and they arrest her. But instead of escorting somebody who is potentially a Jedi killer themselves, they send her on a droid operated transport. Kind of feel like if you have a Jedi killing person out there, that they probably would have just escorted them back themselves, but whatever. So they stick her on the ship. We're shown that she does not have the Force, so you start kind of wondering maybe what's going on. The ship ends up going down due to some people breaking out. She tries to save somebody, turns on her, takes the last pod, so she goes through this shipwreck. Crashes on a snowy planet where our band of Jedi who are sent to retrieve her. Well, I guess one of the Jedi that originally arrested her is joined by a couple other Jedi to go and retrieve her because she was not found among the survivors. So her old master goes to get her. And it's very clear he has some attachment and some like investment in her, maybe more so than being just her master, maybe a mentor, like a father figure type thing, because they've known each other for a long time, I guess. So our protagonist has visions of her sister, and we find out that she has a twin, and then that's, at least for me, because again, I didn't look up any of this, so I know there were theories and stuff, that she has a twin sister that is potentially and probably the one doing this, which is why it's shown that she can't use her force powers or had no recollection of any of the stuff happening, because it was not her. So I thought that was a good twist. I know a lot of people saw that coming. Again, I didn't look at any of that, so I didn't know. I thought it was interesting. We we get a very Ahsoka Anakin reminiscent scene of her kind of being framed for something and wanting to run away, and the master trying to walk her back. In this case, was successful in doing so. Um, which, he's very quick to turn around, because in like the previous scenes, he's like, "Oh yeah, no, May's dead. Like I saw her die," and then in literally like a couple scenes later, she's like, "Yeah, May's alive." And he's like, "Yeah, I trust you." It's like, okay, so the writing, there's some weird stuff, but it's more or less fine, so it's not that big of a deal. Um, Yord, when they're also initially introduced on the ship when she gets arrested, is like very much so friends, and they have a history and all of that kind of stuff. And then at this point, it's almost like he doesn't know her at all, and prisoner this, prisoner that, and he's very by the books Jedi. Like, it's a little weird. It comes off a little bit weird. I almost feel like it would have made more sense had he not known who it was and then was just a by the books Jedi, but I don't know. So Soul, the master truster, says, "Okay, this is what we're going to do." And then while this is all happening, she's attacking a different Jedi on another planet. Or was that in episode 2? I'm sorry, I watched both of these back to back both times. I think they basically go onto the ship, and then that's more or less where that episode ends, and we get this really, really, really bad, cringy scene with one of the dark side people, um, talking in a really terrible voice, and he's saying these awful lines about the acolyte killing the dream, and it's just not good. I didn't like it at all, so not great. So then episode 2, this is where May, the bad twin, tries to kill another Jedi, but he's meditating in a force field. And she does the same challenge me with all your strength thing. It does not work for me. I don't like it, but whatever. Um, our good twin, Osha, helps one of the Jedi fix a ship problem. So, hey, yeah, I'm a nice person. They talk for a second, and then we get more of Yord like not trusting her, which again, it's just feels weird because they were just very much so friends, but whatever. And they go to this planet. Our little band of characters go to this planet to investigate, where May was just trying to kill a Jedi but was unsuccessful. And May, I guess, tells her supplier that she's hunting for Jedi and she needs to kill one without a weapon. And does that mean steal a lightsaber and kill them with the lightsaber? And that's with no weapon, because she keeps reaching for them. But then she killed Indara in the first episode and just left it on the ground. So I don't really know. Um, it's shown very clearly that Soul has personal investment in this, whether it's he feels responsible for whatever happened to Osha and May, or some form of the thing, or guilty because of how it affected Osha. I'm not entirely sure, but he is definitely involved and invested. So he's not as a by the books Jedi as some, like Yord. So you get lots of these scenes of like just a bunch of random Jedi. So I guess they just have all the Force users, and some of them seem a little incompetent. So I guess at this point they were just taking in anybody and everybody that had the Force, and they were training them, because better to be a dumb Jedi than a dumb Sith, I guess. I don't really know. So May goes back in with a poison that she got from her supplier to poison this Jedi, and he willingly takes it. So I feel like that maybe alludes to some further involvement with the Jedi, because I think it's at 16 years. I was gonna say maybe that leads to some further involvement with the Jedi into the death of Osha and May's family. I'm not entirely sure. Otherwise, why would he poison himself unless she did a mind trick or something? But she didn't do anything visually, so maybe I just missed it. I don't know. Osha comes in. Obviously, he's dead. And they're like, "Oh, whoa, 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 you better explain it." And then Yord comes down the stairs and sticks up for her, because he followed her and saw that it wasn't her. So there, beef done. They're all good, I guess. Everybody's on the same page. So they go out. They realize that the shopkeeper is different. So Osha goes in because she's a twin, talks to this dude, gets him to kind of confess some things, but then he realizes that it's not her. Or maybe he confessed on purpose because he knew it wasn't her. No, I don't know. That doesn't really make much sense either. Because he said it like he knew. There's holes. There's some holes, I guess. It's not that big of a deal, though, really. I don't care that much. So they get the confession. They go in. They talk to this dude. He says that she's going to come back tonight. So, and he was telling the truth there. So that I'm real confused by that guy, to be honest. And they try to capture May at night. And there's a really good fight sequence between May and Soul. Again, the choreography is fast paced. It's fun to watch and it's good. And they go to capture her again, or just capture her in general. And they're like real far away from her, and they're just kind of all standing there. And then she just kicks up all the dust and leaves. Why they wouldn't have like approached her and restrained her or detained her in some way, I don't know. Again, this character at this point they know has killed 2 Jedi, and there's not really a whole lot of precaution happening, so it's a little stupid. But so then she's getting in a speeder, and Osha sees her, and they realize that each other are 100% alive because they both thought each other was dead. And then she shoots the stun gun, and I don't know if she missed on purpose because it kind of looked like she tried, and then she runs out into the street and tries again. But I don't know if that's because she knows that maybe she was being watched and she did let her go, because it just kind of looked like she missed. But then at, I think, the end of the episode, somebody says that the ex-Padawan going rogue is a problem. But did she? I don't know. Maybe I just missed it, because he kind of looked at her like, oh, really? Did you just do that? But again, it wasn't. If she did miss on purpose, I don't guess it was relayed to me very clearly. Again, maybe I'm just missing it. So she talks to her supplier, and he has tracked down the third of 4 Jedi, the Wookiee, which we see very briefly at the end of the second episode, and it looks good. Some people point out that he looks like the I can't even think of it, the Bigfoot from the beef jerky commercials. And that's kind of true, I guess. But so again, not having any predetermined anything, I thought that the twin plot point was interesting. Soul is doing a really good job. Lee Jung Jae as Soul. He's doing. I have not seen him in much. I've only watched bits and pieces of Squid Game, so I'm not entirely familiar with him. But he's a highlight for me so far. And Amandla Stenberg as our 2 protagonist-antagonist characters is actually doing a pretty good job. There's a couple lines and stuff that are a little cheesy or weird or doesn't feel quite right, but as a whole, I think all of the performances are pretty good. The sets look good, but we've kind of come to expect that. The CGI looks really good, except for the one shot where she walks out of the ship that has crashed in the snow, and she looks like a little cropped in, like, little person in there. Something about that shot, I don't know why, it just looked really weird. Everything else looked really good. And the story so far, I am intrigued, given that I didn't have any predetermined expectations or anything like that. What they have given me so far, I'm interested in, and I'm interested to watch the next episodes. The kind of oriental theming, while it doesn't really feel super Star Warsy, I feel like it's getting more Star Warsy feeling aesthetically. Like especially the High Republic, like internal of the ships and stuff, I thought looked really interesting. It's cool to see the temple and it being a little bit different, but still familiar. I'm not. There's nothing like mind blowing about it. And if I was gonna give a rating to the first 2 episodes, because I count them as a block, because that's how I watch them. If 5 was completely in the middle of the road average. I would give it maybe a 6 or a 7. It's a little slightly above average, just a kind of your run-of-the-mill TV show. There's nothing crazy happening so far, but it's not bad by any means. I know that, per usual, the Star Wars community is split, because we always are, and I guess for good reason. We've had a history, okay? But in this, I think it's definitely not a bad start. It could definitely be worse. I'm interested to see where it goes, especially as we get more and more Jedi, the Wookiee stuff, which I assume is coming next week. Hopefully, we don't get like some sort of flashback episode next week. But if there's only 4 Jedi that she's trying to kill, she's already killed 2 in the first 2 episodes. I don't know where we're going, but I'm interested. So yeah, 6 or 7. I'm interested to see where it goes. I'll probably do one of these every week, just to talk to you guys and talk about Star Wars, because if you couldn't tell, Star Wars is kind of my thing. So thank you guys for watching. I appreciate you being here. If you have any conversation or points or anything, feel free to leave them down below. I try to respond to everybody that I can. So thanks, guys. Until next time, see ya.